begin and get you the details. Yes, we are starting with fireworks there because this is coming across as an early Diwali bonanza for the people of India, as the Modi Sarkar has announced the new GST structure that will have a big impact on your wallets. As announced by Prime Minister Narendra Modi from the ramparts of the Red Fort on the occasion of Independence Day, the next generation GST reforms are here, and one that they say will improve the ease of living in India. Now, the Goods and Services Tax Council, during its 56th meeting, decided to revamp the tax structure into a primarily two-rate tax system as proposed by the central government. And now this decision would come into effect from the 22nd of September for most of the items. We'll be breaking down the details of the items that has been announced by the Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, because as far as the tax slab, the tax rate is now concerned, it has now been simplified from a complicated multi-tier structure. In the meantime, let's put out when it comes to the two of those tax rates, that has now been confined to 5% and 18%. Yes, two of the new tax GST system that will also include a new 40% special rate. Let's put out the details of what are these 5% category, the 18% tax slab, and of course when we speak of the reforms that has been carried out in focus, especially when it comes to the welfare of the Aam Aadmi. Almost the personal use items will now see rate cuts as the government is now looking to boost domestic spending and to also cushion the economic blow of the steep US tariffs. Let's in the meantime break it down for a better understanding. When we speak of a multi-tier tax system that was in place, currently rather is in place, what has been abolished and what has been retained? 12% and 28%, they will no longer be in effect from the 22nd of September. However, 5% and 18% will stay. They have been retained. Now, when we speak of the new tax slab structure, which is 40%, now this is a steep 40% GST that would be invited when we speak of certain luxury items and goods as well. Of course, this is something that we'll be discussing in detail, but this has been, when we speak of the GST Council, that has now approved reforms with a multi-sectoral and a multi-thematic focus when we speak of improving the lives of all citizens and also ensuring that there is ease of doing business for all. That includes small traders and businessmen as well. I can see Tushar in the frame. Tushar, good morning. Good to have you this morning on the broadcast. We have Nilesh with us, Dharni with us, and also Nyamika with us, because we want a better understanding from the people as well as they are waking up to this Diwali bonanza or even a pre-Dashera bonanza that has now come in the wake of this festive season. But Tushar, what is your understanding? You know, looking at the broader picture, yes, economic pressure, geopolitical situation that has been changing. But this is now coming at a time, as the Prime Minister's vision has said, that he wants the common man, especially the ease of doing business and the ease of living. That seems to be the new mantra that has been put in focus.
Good morning, Amita. Good morning to all your reporters as well. Wonderful to be on your show as always. Look, interestingly, August 15, the Prime Minister spoke that we're going to rejig the entire GST framework. It's September 3 and it's already done. So the government means business right now. To have an income tax cut and no income tax up to an income of 12 lakh per year and a GST rejig in the same calendar year, that depicts commitment to boosting consumption. If you remember, we had the monthly per capita expenditure coming out and it showed that the rural population was now spending more money on FMCG goods. What happens? Most of the FMCG goods are now either at 0% or 5%. They've all come down from 12 and 18%. Look at the automobile sector. Diwali's around here. Navratras will see the car booking start. And all of a sudden, you have the compensation cess of 22% going away. The small cars would be taxed at 18%. The bigger cars would be at 40%. But effectively, all your cars, be it an SUV, be it a small car, all are cheaper. Now think about this. How many families can finally access their car? Look at the medical equipment, rare diseases and cancer drugs. The last two budgets already cut their import duty to 0. Now you have the GST also coming down to 0, the medical instruments, all those kind of things. Yes. So it's all in the process of helping MSMEs, helping the small entrepreneurs. Yes. And the government has responded well to the ground feedback as well. Yes. It's been 7-8 years since GST was introduced and the taxpayer base has almost doubled. Yes. From 2017 2017 to 2029. So the people have embraced GST, but now they want to take the next
Well,
big
mainly
leap.
when
And
it
this is
comes
the
when
reform.
budget is announced or GST new tax rates, people are rather more interested to know कि अब सस्ता क्या हो गया और अब महंगा क्या हो गया in the category. So this is exactly what we are going to do. Reach out to the people and help them understand, or even if they are aware of these new tax slabs, and this is simplified for now them, especially when it comes to on the coming of 22nd of this month. So Nilesh, do you have people around you, especially when we speak of the government that has come up with a notion of rationalization with a focus on the Aam Aadmi or the common man?
Well, Amita, good morning to you, and it seems like it is a very good morning to the entire nation. Currently, we are reporting from the financial capital of this country, that is Mumbai, and it becomes extremely important as to understand what exactly goes through their mind when they wake up to such a positive news early morning today. What is your take on to the recent changes that has been brought into the GST? Do you think it is a revolutionary step?
Yes, it is a revolutionary step. This is good for middle class people. This is good for lower class people. इसमें सबसे अच्छा ये हो गया है कि जो GST स्लैब आए अलग अलग, उसमें लोगों के लिए अपनी अपनी जरूरत के हिसाब से अपनी अपनी सुविधाएं बढ़ी हैं. पहले क्या था, आपके लिए 1% का सामान लीजिए तो भी उतना ही GST था, या आप लग्जरी आइटम लीजिए तो भी उतना ही GST था. अभी कैसे हो गया है, आपको जिस चीज़ की जरूरत है, जो बेसिक जरूरत की चीज़ें हैं, जो रेगुलर चीजें हैं, उन पे स्लैब में 5% आ गया है. तो उस पे उनको बड़ी राहत मिली है.
राहत मिलेगी. आपको कितनी राहत मिली है GST स्लैब?
डेफिनेटली साहब, इसमें बहुत सारे स्पेंडिंग बढ़ जाएगी, इकोनॉमी बूस्ट होगी, और कॉमन मैन को तो डेफिनेटली बेनिफिट है ही है इसी पे. तो पहले महंगी लगते थे टैक्स स्लैब का, अभी दूध पे भी 5% था, अभी 0 पे आ गया. देन स्पेंडिंग तो ऑटोमेटिकली डेफिनेटली इट विल बूस्ट द इकोनॉमी ऑफ द.
महीने के जेब खर्च पे कितना असर पड़ रहा है इससे?
स्पेंडिंग के हिसाब से देखे जाए तो 10-15 हज़ार तो मेरे सेविंग होने वाली है. एक्चुअली देखा जाए तो मंथली 10-15 हज़ार तो डेफिनेटली. तो वो 15 हज़ार हम लोग दूसरे यहाँ पे खर्चा कर सकता. और मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेंटली कि हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस पे भी GST नहीं है, जो 18% प्रीवियसली लगता था, अभी नील कर दिया, एग्जाम्पशन हो गया. दैट इज विल बी द रियल बेनिफिट ऑफ ईच एंड एवरी कम्युनिटी, जो भी है, बड़े हो या छोटे हो, लोअर मिडिल क्लास हो या कॉमन मैन, जितने भी है, इट्स डेफिनेटली विल हेल्प अस.
तो इस बार आपकी दिवाली थोड़ी पहले आती नजर आ रही है.
मोदी जी ने जो 15 अगस्त को जो भाषण दिया था लाल किले से कि दिवाली में सौगात मिलेगी डेफिनेटली कॉमन पीपल को, बट उन्होंने पहले ही
something that the people are now saying that this is coming at their benefit. Of course, as the individual there has been mentioning that the exemption of GST from all individual health insurance policies that also include family quota policies and policies for senior citizens, the reinsurance thereof that makes insurance now more affordable for the Aam Aadmi and will also increase the insurance coverage in the country. But we'll also take a look as far as how the Vipaksh has been reacting. Nyamika already credit war has started saying कि हमने तो पहले से कहा था. This is something that our leaders envisioned, and the pressure that has been built on the Modi government that has forced when it comes to simplifying the GST. The Gabbar Singh tax analogy, if you would remember. But how are the people on ground reacting to this new development?
And yes, indeed, Amita, we have seen that how the credit war has already started from the opposition parties, as it is the Congress as well as TMC, who is giving the credit to their own leaders. On one side, Congress leaders are saying that it was Rahul Gandhi's initiative that he had advised to the government to remove the GST from the health insurance, while on the other side, the TMC leaders are giving all the credits to Mamata Banerjee. But let us go across to people here. As right now we are standing at the Mother Dairy in the Central Delhi, and let us speak to the people that what is their take regarding these reforms which have been done by the government. Sir, आपसे बात करना चाहेंगे, जिस तरीके से गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से ये डिसीजन लिया गया है, GST कम किया है, खास तौर पे अगर डेयरी प्रोडक्ट्स की बात करें, कितना बड़ा फायदा इससे जो है आम जनता को होने वाला है, आपकी इस पे क्या राय है?
बिल्कुल सही है, गवर्नमेंट ने जो भी डिसीजन लिया है बहुत अच्छा लिया. ये इसको बहुत पहले लेना चाहिए था, क्योंकि खाने पीने की चीजें आम आदमी की पहुंच से बाहर होती जा रही है. हम लोग फिर भी थोड़ा ठीक है, घर गांव में देखो तो बहुत ही गरीब आदमी है, वो एक अपने बच्चे को बिस्कुट का पैकेट भी नहीं लेके दे सकता है, तो उस पर भी ये जीएसटी टैक्स लगे तो ये बहुत नाजायज है। गवर्नमेंट को ये देखना चाहिए कौन आदमी टैक्स दे सकता है और कौन सी चीजें ऐसी हैं जिन पे जरूरी है, क्योंकि जो गरीब से गरीब आदमी की जरूरत की चीज है उस पर टैक्स नहीं होना चाहिए। कुछ चीजें ऐसी होती है जो अमीरों का शौक है, उस पर जितना गवर्नमेंट लगाना चाहे लगा सकती है।
आपकी पॉकेट पर कितना असर पड़ेगा जिस तरीके से अब ये जो रोजमर्रा वाली जो चीजें होती है, दूध हो, दही हो, पनीर हो, इस पर जिस तरीके से टैक्स कम किया है, कितनी बचत जो है वो आपकी होने वाली है?
हमारी काफी बचत हो जाएगी, क्योंकि अभी फैक्ट्री लेते, कोई चीज लेते हो तो उसमें बिस्कुट का पैकेट 20 किलो तो 4 आते हैं 5 रुपए में, ठीक है। अभी टैक्स हटेगा तो 4 की जगह 6 हो सकती है, ठीक है ना। तो
बचत ये हमारी mantra that we are speaking of, because reduction of GST right from 80% or 12% to 5% on a host of common man items such as hair oil, toilet soap bars, shampoos, toothbrushes, toothpaste, bicycles, tableware, kitchenware, other household items and articles that have now been affected. And of course, this is as far as when it comes to the people on ground have been giving it as a big thumbs up. But in the meantime, let's take a look as far as the big key takeaways are concerned of this next gen GST 2.0 as it is being called. When we talk of simplifying the tax structure, this is how the government has given out the details. Only 2 tax slabs. Now this is what you have to keep in mind. Let's put out the details for our viewers for a better understanding. 2 tax slabs, 5%, and now we speak of the other, when we speak of the key takeaways, new GST tax slabs that will now have only 2 of these tax structures. When we speak of the other key takeaways, the other 12% and 28%, those tax slabs have now been removed. They have been abolished. However, the other 2 have been retained. Another key takeaway that we speak of is the 40% tax slab. Now, what is this 40% tax slab? It now invites, when it comes to a steep GST on super luxury items and products. But the big talking point here is the health and the life insurance GST free, GST mukt, as we have been also calling it here. Now, when we talk of these new regimes, when it comes into focus, when it will be implemented, well, it will be implemented from this very month itself, right from the 22nd of September. So what happens if you are now planning to buy a new car? You know, this Diwali season, it's the festive season, and we are giving out you a simple example. So how do you purchase with the new GST rates and how it will now affect you? Let's find out. Because if you're thinking of purchasing a car this Diwali season, when we speak of EVs or electric vehicles, 5% GST, however, here we are not looking at any change here. Electric vehicles, 5% GST, no change. But when we speak of petrol hybrid, LPG, CNG, earlier that came in the tax slab of 28%, there is a steep reduction of 10%, now at 18% of 1200 cc, which is cubic capacity, and 4000 mm. Other than that, diesel hybrid, earlier again the same in 28% category, now will come in the 18% category of 1500 cc and 4000 mm. Big cars, GST rate 40%. This is where it comes in the luxury items case. So let's go back to Tushar for a better understanding, because when we speak, Tushar, the GST Council approving the rate rationalization, it is all about common man. It is about labor-intensive industries. It is about farmers and the agriculture and also the health sector. Do you believe that these are the key drivers of the economy?
Oh, absolutely. You look at the FMCG goods, for instance, paneer, milk, paranthas, butter, cheese. All of them are now in the 5% bracket, and they were in the higher 18 to 12% bracket. Look, FMCG goods are a very good indicator of where the economy is going. You look at fruit and veg juices, tender coconut water, coffee, soups, preserved meats. All of them are now under 5%. So they're very good indicators of where the economy is going. One point I do want to highlight, for a long period of time, there was this contention between the government and the insurance providers that if we give you that cut that you've been asking for a very long time, will you pass on the benefit to the consumers? Now the medical insurance and the health insurance for an individual, the GST is down to 0%. What I want to see is how do these insurance companies pass on the benefits to the consumer? That would be very, very important, because the government has done its job. Number 3, and I was just going through my old research, Rahul Gandhi's team might want to take the credit today, Amita, but the truth is he advocated a single GST rate. Even back in 2018, Arun Jaitley ji had corrected him. In 2019, he repeated the same claim. In 2022 also, he said that I want a single rate. Look, you can't have an SUV and tobacco and something that is used by families every single day being taxed at an equal rate. One of the people your reporter was speaking to made a very good point that the people who can pay tax, and that is the whole premise that capitalism is built on. You can't be taxing everyone equally. You can't be taxing someone who buys.
That was one of the notion that was raised earlier by one of the political leaders, that the salary you earn taxed, the items that you are purchasing taxed. Now, in fact, if you are buying something taxed, if you're trying to sell something additional tax. So this is something now that we're looking at as the tax structure now being simplified. But there is another concern that has been raised by state governments as well. I would like to quickly go across to Dharani. Dharani, M.K. Stalin has been raising concerns of the multiple sectors that have been affected because of the steep US, tariff hike. This is a concern that has been raised by state finance ministers as well over the impending revenue loss that the states would now have to face.
Well, definitely the revenue loss is something that the DMK government in Tamil Nadu has been raising as an issue time and again. And yesterday, Tamil Nadu's Finance Minister Thangam Thennarasu was part of this meet. In fact, we have been joined by a few people here in Chennai to understand their perspective on these GST reforms. Sir, what is your stance on the GST reforms?
It's a really welcome move. People will be benefited.
They've told there is zero GST for health insurance. Sir,
it's a really welcome move. It is long expected. It's a really, I appreciate that. And I can save substantial amount in every year. Nearly about 7,000 to 8,000 rupees I can save.
Sir, they've abolished 2 slabs and now we only have 2 slabs in the GST. That is the 5% and 16% slabs. How do you see this?
It is a very good move. It will avoid some complications in the application of the GST, and the complaints will also be better, and the procedures will also be better. In the GST reform, what I have seen is this construction sector will benefit by this cut in the cement GST. I think they should have looked at other products in the construction sector because that creates a maximum domestic demand. And cut in mid-size cars, GST cut in mid-size cars, the life insurance and health insurance is a very good move. Only thing is that the company should pass on the benefits to the customers.
Sir, now there is a 40% slab, luxury products and seen goods, that will be part of this 40%. How do you see this?
It's okay for rich people, they can afford, so it's a good move. It get compensated with the reduction in the common people items. And I am particularly interested in knowing the rice, branded rice, whether it is being abolished, because now it is 5%, I believe. If that is also abolished, that will be a welcome sign to the progress. And I hope with this reform, our GDP number will go up. This is my personal view.
Sir, what is your overall take on this reform?
I'm quite happy about the latest move. Just making it just 2 slabs is going to benefit the rationalization. It avoids unnecessary complications. But I still would like
together, because this is the people on the ground so far that it's going to affect them the most, and they seem to be more aware of the government structuring of the new tax rates. The rationalization of the current 4-tier tax rate structure into a more citizen-friendly, simple tax with 2-rate structure with a standard rate of 18% and a merit rate of 5%, the special demerit rate of 40% for a few select goods and services. This is how the new GST or the next gen GST or GST 2.0 has now been simplified by the Modi Sarkar. Tushar, appreciate you joining us here on the broadcast. Of course, we'll continue to connect with the people on ground as well, and expert opinions that will also be the main element of a better understanding of what gets cheaper, what's get dearer. Now this, when it comes to the new tax rates that will come into effect from the 22nd of this month.